Well, thank you for having me, Kelly. I think first it should be noted. I think China was quite surprised that Putin actually ordered an invasion. I think they were very surprised, and I think their support for Putin to date has been very lukewarm. There have been several calls initiated by the Russians, including most recently by Putin, trying to get the Chinese more on side, but I don't think they're getting anywhere. China is not going to recognize the two breakaway provinces that Putin has now said are sovereign states. And I think China will be very, very reluctant to try to help Russia move around the sanctions that are being imposed by the West. And
Why?
in particular, I think China's financial institutions are very, very deeply integrated into the global economy. China is one of the largest trading economies in the world. It has massive imports and exports, very substantial flows of foreign direct investment, multiple times those of Russia. And their view would clearly be that if they help the Russians get around the sanctions, that the U.S. might sanction Chinese financial institutions. That would be very costly for China, much more costly than it's going to be for Russia.
At the same time, are we to understand that China basically prizes its involvement in the Western international economy over its desire to undermine said economy?
I think so. I think, their self-interest is to maintain their ties with the global economy, both in terms of trade and investment flows. And they're not going to go out of their way to help Putin maneuver around the financial sanctions. There will still be some trade, I suppose, but China's trade with Russia is a teeny percentage of China's total trade. Russia's a rounding error as far as China is concerned.
So are you saying that we should almost look to China as an ally here in the international response?
Well, I don't think they're going to be an ally. I don't think they're going to speak up strongly in support of the Western sanctions. I don't think they'll join in. Certainly, what they will do is not try to undermine them. So it's more what they don't do rather than what they do.
And who does that leave if the narrative going into this was that Russia and China were leaning on each other to increase their sphere of influence at the expense of the existing international order, then what you're saying would suggest that's not taking place. Did Russia miscalculate?
Well, I think in the long run, China would like, to have a larger role in the global order. Putin certainly has the same objective, so there seemed to be the basis for an alliance. But when you get down to the concrete situation of an invasion of a sovereign state by Russia, this is fundamentally against China's most important foreign policy principle, which is, state sovereignty. And I think that is going to dominate. I think the idea that they were going to have an alliance with Russia was a little bit far-fetched.
And finally, Nick, the widespread notion that China might use the disarray as an opportunity to advance on Taiwan, or might follow Russia's lead by saying, well, then if this is what we're doing now, then it's time for us to make our long-awaited move. What do you think about those prospects?
I think that's very unfounded speculation. You could make the counter argument that the fear might be on China's part that the U.S. would declare that Taiwan was a sovereign country and increase its defense commitment to Taiwan, and that's something the Chinese want to avoid at all costs.
Oh, fascinating.
I think the chance of a Chinese move on Taiwan now is approximately zero.
Wow. Nick Lardy, great to have you on today. Thank you, sir.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.